Hi guys, I'm going to talk about a project that I completed at the back end of last year 2014. A little game called Love Dungeon for the Amiga computer. Where do I start with this one? Well, I've written a few Amiga and Atari ST games way back in the mid to late 80s, and you had to write them in assembly language at the time, 68,000 as the chip was, the Motorola 68,000. And it was quite a nice chip to program on actually, and I did enjoy my time working on those machines. More recently, last year, and the years before that, 2012, 13 and 14, I was actually working on some arcade machines for my own use. I've got a full-size upright and a cocktail machine. And on the upright, I decided to put some Amiga games on there that would be suited for arcade gameplay, such as Battle Squadron, Hybris, Sensible Soccer, that kind of thing. And I'd done all that, worked out fine, no problems, and it got me thinking really how much I enjoy programming on the 68,000. I decided I was going to have a go and write another little game for it, so the thought process began, and I went through a lot of games that I used to like on the Commodore 64 that I didn't think had a good version on the Amiga. After researching, I found that there wasn't a really good version of Bruce Lee, no official one, and the only versions out there were PD games which didn't really capture the spirit. So I thought, okay, I'll embark on this. So I had a look around, see what resources were available, and I found a Master System version under development by a very talented guy called Cage San. And I had a look at it and I thought, yeah, that looks great. I'll contact him, see if I can use some of his assets, graphics, that kind of thing, and for a basis of an Amiga version. He got back to me and he seemed quite open about it, really. He said, yeah, as soon as I finish this one, we can talk and assist you with starting your Amiga version, and he was all for it. So I thought, great. What I'll do in the meantime, I'll write a smaller game just to get me reacclimatised with the Amiga's architecture, because there is quite a lot of hardware in there and I haven't touched it for going on 20 years. And plus, I needed to refresh my 68,000 programming skills. So I decided to write this game, Love Dungeon. It's a very simple game, and it's not got the complexity of Bruce Lee, but it was never designed with that in mind. It was designed to be something that I could complete within 4 weeks. That's the amount of time that I'd allocated myself. And I wanted it to be less than 64k, everything. Graphics, sound, the program, the whole shebang, less than 64k. I wanted it to run on every single Amiga, whether it was a real Amiga, NTSC, PAL, emulated, and I wanted it to quit to Workbench at the end of it, so you didn't have to reset your Amiga if you were running it from the Workbench or from CLI, whatever it might be. I managed to achieve everything that I set out to, all those goals were all ticked and everything was fine. I was happy with the game for what it was, and I was looking forward to getting stuck into the Bruce Lee game. I was doing a lot of work in parallel to writing Love Dungeon on the Bruce Lee side of it, creating maps, map editors, all the lanterns, were the enemies triggered, that kind of thing. You'll see one of the enemies actually in Love Dungeon, Yamo, the green guy, who follows you around and fights you, etc. He's all there. But basically, what put a stop to that happening was Cage-san became a little upset that I'd actually pipped him to the post, if you like. My little game, Love Dungeon, was actually out before his Master System version of Bruce Lee, and it was a miscommunication really. I should have been more clear about what my intentions were, because I didn't want to step on his toes. The graphics that you're looking at were all created originally by Cage-san for the Master System version, and I ripped them all manually by hand, importing them all to the Amiga, changed all the palettes around, recreated all the maps, etc. But essentially the graphics are his. I just reworked them for the Amiga, and he wasn't terribly upset by it, but it did express his displeasure in another game coming out before his game when he actually created the graphics. So I stepped back from development really and moved on to other things, but it did get released, and it's in the public domain, and you can find it on Aminet if you're interested. And that's it, the little story of Love Dungeon.